Welcome to the Esports Xfinity Series here at Darlington for round number 11 of the 13 series. Of course, closing up on the end of the Championship Series. We'll have 2 rounds left after tonight. But of course, after last week's server issues due to iRacing, we're going to be running back-to-back weeks. Of course, usually having that week in between means that the drivers are going to be working back-to-back here in this round and round 12. Right now, we're just finishing up practice here. We've got about 3 minutes left to practice before moving on to qualifying. Gives us some time here to go look over at our point standings. Only 3 rounds to go. Leading the points chart, Jason Martin is leading with 339 points ahead of Purnell. Of course, Purnell unable to make tonight's race by the looks of it, as he still hasn't joined in. But that'll move back to Edward Foster. Foster was a point behind Purnell coming into tonight. But with a points drop from Purnell, we'll look certain that Foster's going to take over the second spot. As we move back to Hayden Dodman in the 4th spot, only 3 points behind Foster. Those two continuing to duel it out for that 3rd spot. We look back now, a bit of a gap back to Riley Curtis, followed by Carol Waldron. Then you got James Foster, Matthew Clowett, Ashley Leah, and Dave Douglas to round out the top 10. Finishing up practice now, 2 minutes left. We can see a distinct gap there at the top of the practice there. Currently right now, leading the practice lap 27.2 being set by Braden Bowles. So Braden Bowles leads at 27.26, bit of a gap, nearly 2 tenths back to second place currently practice of Stephen Williams and the number 98 machine with a 27.4. All drivers are pretty consistent though through there as they all seem to evenly spread themselves out down the rankings. As practice now really starting to come onto an end as we start to get into the heavy stuff of the night in qualifying. Now, of course, Ryan, coming into tonight, tonight Darlington, pretty racing track, of course, moving in. We've seen a lot of races, but it can turn into a wreck fest. What are your thoughts on what tonight's going to turn into?
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun one. Darlington being my home track, I am the lone person that is in the server that is from close. Oh, we actually have Brandon Bolus is from America also. But I am relatively close to Darlington. It's about a 2-hour drive from my house. And it is a fantastic track. You can put on some really good racing, but it can also put on some really, really hard racing too. These corners are not built the same at all. You take each corner completely different. Straightaways are different too, it seems like, and there's not a whole lot of room to race either. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and it's going to be a lot of give and take, but it's also going to be a lot of take. I don't think they're going to be doing a whole lot of giving with only two races left in the season.
It's good that you know the track. I think I'm a few thousand kilometres away from Darlington in my home of Australia. So it looks like you're going to be the track guru tonight. So we get set up for qualifying now.
Yeah, it looks like qualifying is just about to start as we see just everybody finishing up. Brandon Bolus did finish up the practice session on top, so we'll see if he can't duplicate that for a #1 starting position.
Obviously me, I've come from the dirt side of commentary. So for me, the track between practice and qualifying was to change drastically from you do your first lap in practice to when you do the qualifying. It goes a lot slicker. Obviously you coming from road side of things, hopefully you'll be able to enlighten me, of course, of what the track does for the NASCAR side of things as opposed to like what I've come out of.
So yeah, we're currently looking at Braden here, and you'll see he's going to try to stay out of the black area because it is similar on dirt where if you get too much rubber down, he just taps the wall and he's going to have to retry again. Don't cross that line. But if you get up into that black stuff and it's too hot, then the car isn't going to really handle that well. It might be faster outside of the colder track. It depends on how they have the track set up. If they have it, where it's just 100% the whole time, the track doesn't really change a whole lot. It's just a bunch of heat. And then once you get that heat, that's when you'll start to see guys moving around. Like you'll see Bullis here. He's hanging right up against the wall. That's the line you want to take, though. So it is similar in a sense to dirt, but not as drastic as you would see in dirt.
Obviously, I mean, knowing on the NASCAR side of things, I mean, obviously, like in terms of these ways, you get from what I've seen or from what I've also witnessed, obviously, clip the wall there again. Bolus really not actually enjoying the car right now. He seemed to struggling to get off both corners at the moment. So I mean, he'll pull the infield again. He'll try again for these 2 laps. I still believe he's yet to complete a lap by the looks of it in this qualifying. So still hasn't done much. So still got his 2 laps. Of course, still a long time left in qualifying before the drivers start to finish up.
Yeah, he actually only has that 1 lap because he has crossed the start-finish line. So he only has 1 lap left on his chances. As we see currently, Ashley Lear is leading from their first lap. They got a 27.5, and they'll currently stay at the top there for now while we'll watch Braden and see if he can't actually take this #1 spot away, maybe topping that 2.6 that he had in practice.
I mean, that's not a take away. Of course, the points leader in the championship, Jason Martin, he's just gone out on track now to set his 2 laps. Obviously, crucial point for him, leading the championship, 3 rounds to go. He's got a lot of pressure on his plate tonight. We'll have to see what he does in qualifying, see if he can pull off a decent time. He was close in practice to the times, but obviously he's going to have to go a little bit better here in qualifying as he crosses the line to, I believe, start the lap.
Yeah, we'll watch Jason now as Braden has hit the wall on both laps, so that will be the interesting person to watch throughout the race to see where he has to start from, because he won't be starting towards the front. It will definitely be towards the back. This is a track position track also, so it's going to be interesting to see how he works this track and how he works everybody else, as Jason Martin goes straight to the top with a 27.359. Last year's champion is currently right here, and he just taps the wall again for lap 2, so he will currently have that top spot over Stephen Williams.
It was a good lap by him. I mean, very clean, I think, obviously. I think the second lap he didn't really seem to bother too much about. Of course, pretty big gap there, nearly a whole 10th back to second place at the moment. So a lot of guys yet to qualify, though. A lot of them waiting, trying to get out there in that final part. As we just look through the points, see who is in the top 10 there, trying to complete their lap and get a good starting position. Like, as you said, obviously being a track position type of place, not a lot of passing, I'm assuming, going on here, unless it's wrecking, of course, going on here. So obviously qualifying, I feel, are going to be a lot more, I guess, in depth here than most tracks like your super speedways.
Yeah, and you can move around positions quite enough, and yeah, you can move around positions quite enough that you can just try to make something happen. As we see here, Skurlock is going to go for his second lap, and he doesn't improve. But you'll notice as we're watching here, Skurlock, you have to run right next to the wall at the apex of the corner, but you're at the bottom of the corner for 1s and 2, but then 3 and 4, you just kind of stay high. As you'll see here, he just stays right up against the wall, taps it just a little bit, but that's the good old Darlington stripe you'll hear about. And then you go low and then track it out. So you can pass if you get underneath somebody here at turn 1. You can kind of like slide your way up in front of them and then try to hope and pray that they kind of let out, really. And then 3 and 4, you're just kind of hoping and praying that you can get to the wall before they do. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think obviously the only recognition I have of this track, really, just buying it today, is back on the old NASCAR games, obviously, and even on that, passing here was, I feel like it's more of a bump and run, Robbins racing type thing, this track, and you got to have the balls to go for positions, I think.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be what you're going to have to do as we watch Danny G run around for his 2 laps. That's kind of what you have to do here, Darlington. You have to, just throw it in and hope, and you just got to make it happen. Early in the race, I think you'll see more guys will stay single file, sort of line of stern. But as the race goes on, that's when you'll start to see these guys using the bumper, using their doors, using their fenders to try to push people out of the way. So be on the lookout for that.
I mean, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, dirt races, 30 laps and short and quick, you got to make passes quick. This obviously a lot longer. I feel like it's more tactical side of thing, as Danny G just goes in the 7th quick, taps the wall there on his second lap though that time by, so he'll pull to the infield. Looks like his qualifying is done, but he manages to go in 7th place there with a 27.6. I mean, most of the guys right now, they're looking pretty even between like the gaps in between. So it looks like it's going to be pretty tight racing throughout the night.
Yep. And Dave Douglas, he's walking out of the pits here in that new Blokes Advice Racing, something that got changed last week or 2 weeks ago when they were racing at Watkins Glen. They were RCD Riley Curtis design. Now they're Blokes Advice Racing. So you'll see the similar cars but different names now on the side of it. So Dave is a very quick guy. He can wheel one of these cars. Is one of the better ones in this series, and on most nights he can give Jason Martin a little bit of a fight if he really chooses to try to.
I plan on letting me down on because that sounds like a pretty good promise. Good race for the lead.
Yeah, and it looks like Dave Douglas is just going to be a little bit slower off 3. Turn 3 and 4, he's just not using as much of the track. Maybe he just wanted to make sure to get in a lap. But he was running low on that 3 and 4. He really needs to run up a lot higher in the corner, run right next to that wall where it says Darlington, South Carolina. So right about there where it says that Darlington SC, you want to be rubbing that wall all the way until about where that stands start. That's where you kind of pull down. So he's losing a lot of time there, I think. As he doesn't really improve that much, he'll go to 15th position. So we'll see if he can speed his way on up to the front.
I mean, obviously, I was surprised. As also as we look down through the field, currently sitting in that last place spot, James Foster, he's in the points as well. He's not too far behind. He's still racing for them. He's down in the 7th spot. So Foster's still racing, but obviously 17th right now isn't looking too good for him coming race time, being at the back. Obviously, as you said, you don't want to sort of be coming through. But hey, if he can race it, if he can go for it in the race, then I'll be looking for him and hoping for a good one.
Yeah, he'll be one of those dark horse guys if he can start to get up towards that wall. I think later on in the race you'll see these guys become a little more confident in the car, a little bit more confident in themselves, and they'll start getting closer and closer to that wall. That's when you'll start to see these guys, hitting it too. So I don't think any car will finish this race without the right side being hit. That's just not what happens at Darlington. Not even in the real life cars. Even in the real life stuff, it's the right side of the car gets damaged at some point or another. So we'll see just how much damage we see on track and how much we get from these guys. So it looks like our qualifying order has finished. There's only 30 seconds left and nobody else has moved out onto track yet. So I don't see us getting any changes in the starting order.
I've just been watching Matt Danson. I think, if I'm correct, Danson I think should be getting a few extra laps then for qualifying over, because I think he's been going around now for quite a while. They're doing some practice. You see his car's pretty banged up, so just getting in a few sneaky extra laps there before qualifying comes to an end and we get ready for the race.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing green flag pit stop practice, which is a thing here. Because of how wide this track is, it's hard to get down to the pit road and keep your speed and try to see if you can't gain a few tenths here or there, because a few tenths here and there is a lot in asphalt oval. It is a lot of time.
Yeah, so the cars now starting to line up. The grid is locked. 23 cars by the looks of it. Obviously, you've got about 6 cars by the looks of it not qualifying, whether they just weren't here or they hit the wall, which seemed to be the case for most of these guys. Of course, Brandon Bowles, he'll be coming from 18th. Of course, quickest guy in practice. He's got a lot of work to do from down at 18th, but as you just wait for your pulse set, I think you're ready, Ryan. We can roll through the grid.
Yeah, so it looks like Jason Martin, our current points leader, with 2 races left in this series, will start off on pole, making his life way easy. Stephen Williams will start off second. The second row will be Ashley Lear and Joshua Carroll Walton. And we have Matt Danson, Michelle Callow, Danny G, and Edward Foster, who is also in that points battle. He's only 14 points behind Jason Martin, so he'll want to at least finish ahead of Jason Martin. if not win this race and make sure Jason does it. And then you'll have Aaron Dillon and Matthew Clowett will round out the top 10 there.
I mean, moving outside the top 10 on your 6th row on the inside would be Dwayne Priest in the 777 car. On his outside, we'll see Michael Skurlock, who we're watching him qualifying there for a bit. And then we move back to the 7th row, we'll see on the inside Hayden Dodman, followed closely there by Daniel Stevens on his outside at position number 14. Moving back to position number 15, we'll see on the inside of row number 8, we'll see Dave Douglas. Douglas just on the bracket there of that top 10. Of course, you said it would be quick, so hoping for a show from him on his outside out of position number 16. We'll see Riley Curtis. Moving back to then row number 9 on the inside, we'll see James E. Foster. Of course, Foster well up inside the top 10, sitting pretty comfortable there. On his outside, we'll see Braden Bowles, of course, not setting in the time. Moving back to row number 10 now on the inside will be Darren McKenzie, and on his outside will be Norman Clark to round out your top 20.
Yep, and then the last few will have Ben Doughty, Roger Clark, and Nicholas Walsh. They will round out our 23-car field here.
Well, looks like we have packed fields. They're now rolling. I'm going to get ready, actually, because there's only one rolling lap on in the NASCAR world. So
yep.
You guys get it done quicker than what we do.
Yep, especially when you get these big tracks, and Jason Martin will lead them down to the green as they run down the back stretch. It kind of threw me off just a little bit because there's a pit road on the back stretch because it used to be the front stretch, and then they changed it a couple of years, or actually a while ago. I think it was in the mid-90s they changed it where they put it on the front stretch. What is now the new current front stretch. But here they go. The Ford Mustang will leave it, and the Ford Mustang of Jason Martin will go ahead and start this race and get a huge jump going into turn 1.
They're working to one, and Martin there got away. They're 2 by 2 though behind. Moving up in the inside there was Ashley Lear in the 0-10 there, moving up into second spot. He made a nice dive into turns 1, like you said. That's where the passing seems to be, as they all seem to work now. Sort of single file as you move back through the field. Most of the racing now starting to pan out. Of course, guys down the back heavily trying to move forward. There's first lap now coming to a close here at the moment as we work off of turns 4. Jason Martin sitting pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, Danny G is really making it is a little feisty here. He's trying to make it too wide here at Darlington. Doesn't really work out a whole lot as they now decide to go single file here on lap number 2. He went 2 by 2 all the way around this track, which is, you can do it, but I wouldn't advise staying there, as now everybody kind of goes single file. You'll start to see these guys just kind of feel it out here for the 120 laps we have tonight.
I was saying, I mean, a long way around here, of course, only crossing the lap number 3, 120 laps. I mean, these guys, they got to think about the long haul, of course. They don't want to be racing too early and get out too early in the race. They want to try and make it to the end. So, like you said, I mean, they just got a feel for the track. They had to try and gain as many positions on those opening 2 laps, I think, while everyone was sort of close and racing. And then after that, I feel like now it's just going to be sort of strategy-wise and see what you can do.
Yeah, sort of. It's a lot of, if you know the group of guys that you're with are really good, they're gonna not wreck. It's all about tire life. This track eats tires to death, and you'll start to see these lap times completely fall off. Our qualifying lap was a 27.3. Jason Martin on lap 3 at a 27.8, so he's already half a second slower from qualifying, and it's the exact same setup. So you'll see these guys really try to chomp down and really try to save these tires, especially if they know they're not going to be faster than the guy in front of them.
And as you say that, I mean, coming off turns 4 there, I'm just watching right now the battle for the lead. Starting to close in a bit. Ashley Lear is starting to close in on Jason, but as you're talking about tyre wear, I mean, you've got to obviously think about, well, is Jason just trying to save his tyres and get to the end? And maybe Ashley's just pushing that a little bit too hard at the start to try and get as close to him and try and get in that draft as close as you can to just stay with him.
Yeah, one really cool thing about these cars, especially the Xfinity cars, the greenhouse, the roof area is a little bit bigger, so you can see inside the car a little bit better. And one thing that we can see is that actually Lear actually seems to be using less wheel than Jason Martin, so he actually might be actually saving tires while being able to drive it, or that car is just handling better. It seems to be that Jason Martin's car has a tight tendency where the car just doesn't want to turn as well as say, Ashley Lear's. Ashley Lear's car probably is driving a little bit better and handling a little bit better.
I mean, while you were talking about that, of course, we just saw, while I was watching back in the field, Matt Danson made the move on Edward Foster. Foster didn't seem to take too well to it. He dropped about probably nearly 20 car lengths behind Matt Danson. But I've been watching Danson now for a while. A bit of internet connection issues. Hopefully that sort of sorts itself out and doesn't cause too many dramas racing side by side, of course. Close racing here right now, but towards the end, it'll be good to get a lot interesting.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about this midfield, you can already start to see some of these right side fenders starting to cave in. I mean, Matt Danson, his front end is still good. It looked like it was kind of laggy on my end, but Stephen Williams is already have right fender damage. Danny G has right fender damage. Matthew Cloet right fender damage. Dave Douglas, I mean, it's already, we have cars with the right side caved in. So it's going to be rough on these guys. They're gonna really start to figure out where their limit of the car and where they need to place their car at.
I mean, I'm certainly excited, but still, there's a long way to go. Lap number 9. Everyone, I mean, obviously you being near Darlington, hopefully you'll know the pit stop points more than I do. Coming from where I am, we don't have pit stops, so this is all new to me, this whole pit stop thing, but I mean, obviously you'll be able to walk us through that when they come in and see what the strategy is. I mean, obviously these guys, I imagine, will be searching for a yellow and see what they can do under yellow.
Yeah, so you'll always see 4 tires no matter what. This is not a 2-tire place or a no-tire place. Every time there's a caution, everybody will be down for 4 tires, so it's almost like the strategy is null and void. The only time is like if you're just like 3 or 4 laps into it, into the race, as we see there's actually a 2-wide battle back here for Brandon Bolus, who has moved up into 13th position, 12th position now, as he started in 18th, so he's already started to move up. Lap 11, he's moved up 6 positions, so it's only taken him 2 laps to pass somebody, which is roughly less than everybody else. But I mean, he's moving.
Yeah, speaking about Braden, I was watching him probably about 5 laps ago. He wasn't really doing much. He was actually sat probably behind those 3 cars. So in that short amount of time, he's coming as we see him now starting to work on the car in front of Dwayne Priest as he goes to the inside into turns 1. So right now, Braden Ballas has definitely got that car set up. He's feeling happy with it, better than what it was in qualifying, of course, and he was tagging the ball. And right now, he's looking pretty comfortable to slowly move through this field.
Yeah, also I think it's more or less, once you get into the race, you drive a little bit more conservative. When you're in qualifying, you're pushing that car to the absolute limits. As you see here, he is all over the back of Dwayne Priest. And there he goes underneath, and this is what I was talking about for the pass, is right in front of him. Oh, Matthew Cloet gets into Aaron Dillon there, and no caution just yet.
That was an incredible save there by Aaron Dillon on the outside. Somehow we stayed green. As that allows Brendan Dallas right through on the inside.
Yeah, he passed, not only did he pass Dwayne Priest, but then he passed the other 3 cars, so he's all the way up into the top 10 already.
He's definitely making good work. We move forward now. Matt Danson now, he's caught up to the back of what I believe to be his Michelle Callow there in the number 46. So Danson continuing to work forward at the moment. As of course, now working just behind him, actually. I believe that to be Danny G looking up, Stephen Williams working up the inside of Edward Foster there. So those 3 cars right now have a pretty good ding-dong battle there as they work off of turns number 4. But we go back to the front, Matt Danson puts the move on Callow around the outside off of turns 4. And I mean, now he starts to look at Joshua Corral.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Carroll, he may have hit the turn 2 wall because he was way ahead. And then this pack of Matt Danson and Michelle Callow, they actually caught him going into turn 3. So I think there might have been an issue with Joshua on that backstretch as his right side is destroyed too. So we'll see if that comes into play as the 30 of Matt Danson tries to make something underneath. Not really going to work out that much. Josh, he actually decides to block instead of just running his line, and that's actually going to make him vulnerable here in 3 and 4.
Keep in mind, this is the battle for 3rd right now, so these guys are racing on the podium early on. Here he goes on the inside, and he's looking to make a stick off of turns 4, but that drive off the top off of 4 is just too strong at the moment. But he tries staying with him down the front straight away. If he can get under him in the turns 1, I think he'll be able to make the move stick here. As puts Corral on the inside, so Matt Danson right now goes up the inside. There he goes.
Contact.
We stay green again. These guys making immaculate saves, but I mean, Callow, I don't think he's happy about that. He's rejoined just in behind Danny G in the 24 machine, and moving up on his inside goes Stephen Williams as well. So he'll say thank you. And here comes Dallas again on the inside.
Yep. Yeah, but see if Braden can make this work here on the bottom. And it looks like he's going to be there on the inside for turns 1 and 2, and that's going to set him up pretty nice for this whole run. Oh, but Calvo keeps it. This can keep Braden behind it, and it will, as he gets a huge run coming off 2, and he's going to try to make the dive, and he thinks better of it. It's too early in the race. We're only 18 laps into this 120-lap race. We still have 100 laps to go, and these guys are racing like this. Wait until we start getting down to the end and see what happens.
I'm going to be well excited for the last one now. So if they're going like this in the first 20, it is going to be exciting at the end as they sort of start to pan themselves out. And they're going through these, of course, phases of sort of going, and then they'll sort of pan out again until obviously the next car catches up. I mean, obviously, I've been talking through, with these cars, when you take the wall on these things, I mean, I don't know too much about the aero. I was talking about tagging the wall. Corral gets into it again, so Carroll there, Joshua Corral, he's really not enjoying that car now. It's the 24. Danny G will look to go up his inside into 1, so Corral, whether he's got damage from where he's hit that wall quite a few times on the outside there. So nearly gets into it again. He decides to let Corral pass him. There's a bit of net code there, actually, looked like, that sort of helped him up into the wall, but now he falls into the hands of these 3 cars who've been battling it out for the last 5 laps. See Callan move up on the inside of Williamson. Here comes yet again Braden Bowles continuing to move forward. So 4 cars right now going at it off of turns 4. Hopefully this will end well as here comes Callan now on the inside of Corral. Can Corral make that outside work again? He hasn't been able to keep it up there most of the night. And there goes on the inside. Callan getting another hit to Corral. And moving forward comes Williams. Balla now the next one to look to move. So Corral, over the span of about 5-6 laps, he moved outside the top 5. Well down now to looking at about 8th place, 9th place.
Yeah, Callow has moved up very well. It looks like he's back up into the 6th position. He was, I do believe he was running a little bit closer up to the front there before, but yeah, these positions are getting swapped left and right as Braden goes on the inside of Joshua Carroll there, and he will move up into the 8th position after starting in the 18th position. So when you're fast, and you let everybody know it.
Certainly he's moving on the inside. Corral continuing to struggle on that top side. Simply he's not being able to get a turn, so maybe he's hoping for a caution right now to come out or to get to the pit stop phase, but Priest couldn't really make it work. But I mean, yeah, as we're talking, I mean, we're only, 23 laps in, Bowles has already gained 10 spots. He is on it.
Yeah, one thing we actually missed because there was so much stuff happening on the back end of this race. Ashley Lear is leading this race right now. If we go to it, Aaron Dillon has unlapped himself as he just got brand new tires after he pitted. But Ashley Lear is currently leading this race after it looks like Jason Martin has hit the wall. The right side of his car is caved in, and he is losing time, big time, as Ashley Lear just ran a 29.4 to the 29.7 of Jason Martin. So maybe those tires are starting to come in now, you know, for Ashley Lear.
I mean, he definitely doesn't seem to be looking comfortable. I mean, he's still got a big gap back to, of course, 3rd place of Matt Danson. They're nearly half a straightaway. Of course, Danson's starting to bring Edward Foster there with him. And Foster, as we know, Foster probably the closest, he is the closest car tonight to Jason Martin to look for that championship fight, of course, being the 3rd last round. He'll be looking to continue to push forward and hope that maybe Jason can just make a few more mistakes so that he can get closer to him.
Yeah, currently Edward Foster was the fastest person that lap at a 29.3. The next fastest was Matt Danson at a 29.4, and the 2 leaders were at 29.6. So you start to see these guys are 29.5 for Ashley, 29.6 for Jason Martin, 29.4 and a 29.5. So these guys are really close.
Got up on the inside, actually dove through the inside. Bowles, so while you were talking, just dove up the inside of Callow, and he put a good gap on him there. But I mean, as you were saying, I mean, maybe it's just the top 2 guys. I mean, they pulled away on the start. Were they just using their tyres up too much early on? And are these 3rd and 4th guys starting to come forward, or?
Yeah, Joshua Carroll and Stephen Williams have not seen the same luck that Braden Bullis has. Stephen Williams started in 2nd, currently in 8th, and Joshua Carroll had started in 4th, and he's all the way down to 11th. Aaron Dillon in that 0-13, he started 9th and has gone back to 21st, where Braden has gone in the other direction. So some luck is good, some luck is bad.
I think obviously Dillon. I think Dillon was the one who got in that big tangle there. Probably would have been about 10, 15 laps ago. So obviously I assume that's why Dillon would have gone to the infield as Douglas also the lap down as well. So I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's not a whole lot of guys moving forward. I think Ballas is really definitely the guy moving forward. Everyone else seems to be sort of moving back or slowly working forward just off the guys sort of running out. But I mean, right now, I mean, you look at this field. I mean, they're pretty gapped out right now as we see her running off the infield. There's Douglas. So Douglas looks like he's had big impact with the wall. That car does not look too pretty coming off the turns 4. Turns 2, sorry, should I say? Oh yeah, turns 4.
Yeah, it only just happened too. He came off turn 2 and hit the turn 2 wall, and that shot him to the inside of the track. And iRacing does not deem the bottom half of the backstretch, part of the racing surface, so it did not bring out a caution, even though he did spin out. He's gone 1 lap down. That car is absolutely destroyed, so he'll be looking for a caution of some sort here sooner than later to get his lap back.
I mean, right now, I mean, I'm just comparing his lap times. I mean, Matt Danson, he's being very consistent. Of course, 29.5, 29.6s, 4s. You look forward now, of course, going to Jason Martin. Martin's looking around the 6s, and he's just done the 29.8. So, Martin, I mean, you've got to start questioning what those tyres are doing right now underneath him.
Yeah, and if you'll run normally on 1.5-mile tracks, this is a little bit bigger than or a little bit smaller than 1.5 miles at 1.36 miles. So it's a little over, it's like 1.25 miles. It's a really odd size, but at tracks like this, normally you can get about 45 to 50 laps of fuel. I'm not sure if there's a fuel limit on these cars, so if there is, obviously it'll change that a little bit. But yeah, you'll be looking at about 45 to 50 laps. But the undercut, something that you hear a lot of in supercars, that undercut where you come in a lap earlier, a couple laps early to try to see if you can't gain on those new tires. That's real here, as we see Ashley Lear lap time is 29.7, qualified with a 27.5. So we're 2 seconds down. If Jason Martin came in and pitted right now, and Ashley Lear pitted 1 lap after, Jason Martin would be ahead of Ashley Lear. So that's how much difference of a lap, one lap can make on these tires. So look for the undercut to come around, and we'll see if somebody can't make use of that. Maybe Matt Danson or Edward Foster can use that to their advantage, because they are faster than Lear currently, either faster or as fast.
I mean, while we're talking, Ballas has moved up now. Ballas is inside the top 5 right now, so he's got a serious shot at winning this if he keeps his pace up. I mean, he moved past Danny J. I didn't quite see the pass go down, but I mean, I saw him in front of him, and I mean, it must have happened just when I got on him. So, I mean, we're talking about Ballas. He didn't have that qualifying run that he'd like, but right now he's definitely making it known that he's here to win.
Yeah, it looked like Danny G kind of made it easy on him, though. It was like Danny G knew that the pass was intimate, and this is a really long race. He just let him go, as we are now officially a little over a quarter through this race. We're at lap 34 of 120.
Wow, so long way to go right now. You see, actually, I think he's still been behind that lap car for a few laps now, as he's really struggling to move by. He looks to get out of the way now by the looks of it, as he goes up the inside of Norman Clark, that is. So Clark, he'll go down a lap now, so he goes down 1 lap there as Ashley Lear, who's by coming into 3. And right now, I mean, Danson he's still closing that gap in, though, on Martin. So whether he can get to Martin, of course, before the pit window comes out, or whether he's going to have to wait, he might have to try the undercut. But by the looks of it, Martin still dropping back a lot of time on your leader.
Yeah, I think last lap, Jason Martin did gain half a second just because of him passing Norman Clark. So this lap traffic will make the group get smaller, and then it'll make it expand and contract, just like in any kind of like multi-class series. When you're lapping those cars, it really makes that lead car come back to you. So you just hope that second time, that car really helps you out more. So we'll see if that helps out Jason Martin later on, as he is now currently 1.39 seconds behind Ashley Lear for that second position, and Matt Danson is closing in.
And right now, well, those two, the only 3 cars right now in track that seem to be going out, of course, teammates in Callow and Pierce by the looks of it. Callow dropped a bit of time. He was right behind Williams there, just while you were talking about him. He had a look to the inside, but falls a bit behind now. So those 3 cars went hard. You can see those cars driving hard in, but it looks like Williams just looking for that drive off the exit, but he didn't quite get it that time by. So the 2 teammates right now, by the looks of it, they're going to be working on that Williams machine.
Edward Foster has just tapped the wall coming off turn 4 in that 53 car, and that's going to allow Braden Bolus to come through and get that number 4 position. So Braden Bolus from 18th to 4th in 40 laps here at Darlington. That is an unreal feat.
Well, he's definitely quick. I think the key thing that he's been doing, I mean, obviously, by the look of his car, if I get to him, his car looks pretty clean right now, and 39 laps in, everyone else is starting to look a bit banged up.
Yeah, he has tapped the wall here and there. I think my screen, it currently looks completely clean, but I have seen him tap the wall a few times. I do think that car does have damage. It's not really showing it right now. But he has been absolutely flying. As we look right now, I mean, he's currently lapping, 29.6, yeah, 29.9 when he passed Edward Foster, but he's 29.5, 29.4 as he just gets into the wall there. So he's consistently faster than the leaders. He is the fastest person on track right now. But when you get that far behind, it's hard to catch up this quick in the race. If he can get a caution, he'll be right up there, as it looks like pit stop should be starting here sooner than later, as Matt Danson is all over the back of Jason Martin.
I was just about to say that, yeah, Danson's been working with Martin, so now he's with him. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting battle. Of course, Danson's going to be looking to get by Martin probably as quick as he can. So he'll go to the outside into the corner, so Martin goes to the inside, opposite that inside line. Looks like he kind of let him by there, sort of lifted on the straightaway. That was just a run that he got off the turns 4, but Danson getting by him quickly and knowing that he's faster than Martin, so that'll work in Danson's favour a lot come later on in the race.
Yeah, Jason just kind of let him go because he knew that his car is just not anywhere near as fast as Matt Danson. So it is almost faster for him just to let Matt Danson go and let him run his race and get him maybe on pit stop strategy or something. Maybe he wants to change the rear spring perch or something like that, or add some tape to get this car handling a little bit better, later on in the race. I
mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see now, of course. I mean, Danson now, open air, Danson, he's now 2.1 seconds currently behind Ashley Lear, so but he can get to him. But I mean, Martin right now, he's hanging with Danson, maybe just trying to get that slipstream hold with him just until the pit window, of course, and then see what happens from there, because that's really where the interesting part of the race is going to come in.
Yeah, so when these guys pit, you'll see they'll be able to do a good bit of adjustments, really. It's kind of hidden, but they're there. So you have the tire pressure adjustments, that can help out either a long run or a short run. It can also help out with how the car handles throughout the run. Like if you're getting too tight, maybe you'll drop the front right air pressure, half a pound, and that will change it drastically. Or you can add some spring perch that adds cross weight, more like a packer. It'll add cross weight, and that'll also change how the car handles. Maybe it's too loose or too tight, so you'll add or take out packer on left or right side. And then adding the tape on the front, you can see that little grill right below where it says Camaro on Matt Danson as he goes around the 00. Oh, that's Ashley Lear. That's for the lead. I didn't realize who it was. Because I have mine. I watched the reverse cam so I can watch behind, because I don't imagine people moving up, a second and a half in a lap. But now Matt Danson is taking the lead. It looks like Ashley may have hit the wall coming off too.
I mean, I was watching the gap times just when they crossed the line. And when they crossed the line, the lap time 2 laps ago, it was about 2 seconds, and then of course it dropped to 1.4, and I was sort of watching, and then I mean those top 3 now, right? And let's not count out Ballas. Ballas is right in this fight now, and he can see the leaders, and he is well within range right now. So coming from 18th to 4th, he's now looking at the win right now.
Yeah, and Jason Martin is all over the back of Ashley Martin now. So now that undercut makes it a little bit, it's a little bit more enticing for some of these guys. Matt Danson doesn't want them to do the undercut, but he doesn't, he doesn't want to go in. You don't want to be the first car in if you're the leader, but you also don't want to be, reacting to somebody who's right behind you. For him, he would want Edward Foster to come in to bring these guys in, and obviously bring Matt Danson in also. So he'll want Edward Foster to come in as soon as he can.
As we're talking, these two guys fighting it out, but while this has been going on, Bowles has been closing in at least 2/10 a lap, and Bowles is, I'd say in the next 2 laps, he's going to be right on the back of that 20-mile machine of Jason Martin there. But the amazing thing is, we were talking at the start of this thing that, this could go one way or the other. Wreckfest or Wiki gets some good racing. We've gone 48, come 49 laps right now under green. This has been some pretty good racing.
Yeah, currently right now, you've got a couple of lap cars they're coming up on. Daniel Stevens is going to be the first one for Matt Danson. We'll see if he plays them any favors. As Ashley Lear comes off turn 2 and taps it again, that's going to put them as Brandon Bullis just, wow, he went from 4th to 2nd in a straightaway. So he is on fire. He is wanting to win this race. He wants no doubt that he is the fastest person, as Riley Curtis does come down the pit road. So we'll start to see these guys come down here sooner than later.
I was just watching that replay there, and Lear tagged the wall, and then Martin did that thing again. Martin, of course, went to the inside to let Bowles by. By doing that, he just put Bowles at the second. But as we say, that lap car not helping him. Bowles is trying to as Lear up the inside, but Bowles goes in harder, and he'll look to get in the bottom there off the corner, I imagine, to try and get underneath that slower car in front of him. So lap traffic really starting to come a factor. And while that's going on, Danson right now is just starting to walk away listening for the pit window, which is ultimately what you want to do.
Yeah, it looks like that Daniel Stevens just let him by there, and it really hurt Jason Martin because he wasn't able to run that line that he wants to run. Running that out, inside out, and with the car there, you can't really run it out, and it really hurt Jason Martin.
Obviously, coming on from 51 laps, the top 4 to still be within 2 seconds of each other. This is some pretty incredible driving from these guys. As I say that, Martin gap opens up there to 2.8 seconds. So Martin really starting to drop off, and Martin will be looking to come in the pits probably as soon as he can right now. So Martin really not feeling comfortable in that car right now.
Yeah, one thing to watch now, you'll see here Riley Curtis. He's on his teammate Edward Foster here, but you'll see, even though Riley's been running towards the midfield in the back, you'll see just how much faster these new tires are. And he goes around Edward Foster, if he goes around Edward Foster, because if he doesn't get around him, he's not going to get the benefit of those new tires. But he's just sitting back there. He's just the whole entire time, he's just trying to find some way around. But he is much faster than Edward Foster right now, and he's not taking advantage of it. And that's really going to hurt him later on.
Of course, Foster at the moment, he's still in the points. So right now, Foster, you saw Martin open up that lead, of course, at the start. Foster looked like he'd have to work. Now only 1 point gap separates them. So, as minimal points as Foster can get is what he'll be hoping for. He's still about 2.1 seconds right now behind Martin. But, those two, of course, can't be the two that you're going to be watching for that points battle come next round in the final 2 rounds of the season, should I say. But as right now, we only got 10 cars right now currently on the lead lap, of course, due to that pit window. So obviously we'll see them come back on the lead lap. But we're just watching for them.
Yeah, the car to watch right now is Darren McKenzie. You can see the speed difference between how fast and how slow it is on new and old tires. He just drove around Ashley Lear through 3 and 4. It was an absolute sight. Ashley Lear went straight to the top, and Darren McKenzie just drove right to the bottom and just went right around him. So that's what I was talking about, that undercut. You'll see Darren McKenzie here just absolutely blow by Greg Bullis too, even though he's running that low line.
Right now, looking at the lap times between Bowles, of course, that time by, there's a 29.7. We move back now to McKenzie right now. If I can get on him, there we go. He just did a 28.8. So, you're looking nearly a whole second faster right now on those fresh tires. The question is, when are you going to come in and try and get that undercut, is what Bowles will be looking at.
Yeah, you'll see McKenzie here. He'll just drive straight to the bottom and just drive right on around him. As Bullis gets into the wall there, but doesn't seem like it's going to hurt him too bad. He might have a little bit more damage than he wants, but yeah, McKenzie is currently one of the fastest cars on track. Currently 2 laps down also, trying to get one of these laps back so he can fight for that lucky dog. When the caution comes out, if you're the first car lap down, you do get a free pass to get your lap back. So as Matt Danson just let McKenzie go there. So McKenzie's racing to get back onto the lead lap. Whereas Matt Danson is now, he's being eaten alive by Braden Bullis. We'll see if Bullis can make it around the number 30.
Yeah, means they work off turns number 2. I mean, you'll see them. Obviously, these guys, their tyres have got to be worn right now. With Bullis still pushing on Danson. It wasn't just how much he was really saving in those first 10 laps. Like I said, he wasn't really moving anywhere. And, I mean, now he's definitely been the fastest car on track in terms of what your tyre rates are at. I mean, I'm sure he'll be looking to get by Danson, hopefully before the pit window, but we'll just have to wait and see what he does.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are going to try to do it on one stop, which can work. But I was imagining somebody would come in, at lap 40 to make it a 2-stopper, and here comes Braden Bullis as Matt Danson just got slowed up by Dave Douglas, and holy cow, Braden Bullis is now in the lead after starting in 18th position just 59 laps ago.
That is incredible. That was a sight to watch. I mean, him coming through the field, he's still got, we're only just at the halfway point, so if he's out in front now, I mean, the interesting thing will be see if he can open up that lead and how much can he open it up by.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody like Ashley Lear, who has come down to the pits, he'll grab his 4 tires and get on out of here, and that will put Ashley. So it'll be interesting to see if Ashley can take that lead again after it is 1 lap short of 60. But we'll see if also he should be, he'll be able to get out before getting lapped here, as Braden Bullis is now just coming off turn 4, and Ashley Lear is going out of turn 4. So yeah, just get 1 lap down, but definitely be able to get that lap back for sure. And it looks like somebody else came down. Norman Clark has come down for the pit.
And
also.
as we say that, your leader's coming into the pit, so Ballas comes in, Danson comes in behind, Danson really pushing into the pit. That was fast, and that could be close. And I mean, we could be looking. I mean, he came in fast, so whether that was right on the brink of that black flag, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, Daniel Stevens spins out at pit entry. So that might bring out a caution.
And also missing, they're the triples.
No caution.
Also another car there.
Daniel Priest.
Behind.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Dwayne
Priest
struggling to get in.
Yeah, like what I was saying at the beginning of the race, it's tough to get into this pit box, and Edward Foster, I believe, has made the wrong pit call, as he is now coming into the pit road as Ashley Lear is driving around to pass everybody back for the spot.
Danson's got the lead. He took the lead in pit road, so Danson back out in front out of the stop there, quicker stop there, and he sort of had pushed Ballas out the way. But I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get the lead. So it's over for
he doesn't have the lead right now. Ashley Lear has the lead right now by a huge margin too. Ashley Lear was able to jump all of them with that undercut, like I was talking about earlier. So we'll see if Ashley Lear can hold on to this lead, as Matt Danson and Braden Bullis now will fight it off for that 2nd position, as actually Danny G will be in that 2nd position now. I do not believe he has pitted yet. No, Danny G has pitted. He pitted on lap 50. So Danny G is real 60. He is in real 2nd place. Edward Foster is leaving the pit road currently. I'm not sure where they're going to pop him out at. And Joshua Carroll is pitting now. So Ashley Lear is in the lead as Edward Foster is going down into turn 3. So Edward Foster has lost a ton of time just by not getting on pit road when he was, quote unquote, supposed to with everybody else. He has now lost 10 seconds to the leader. He was around 4 to 5 seconds behind the leader. He's now 15 seconds behind in 9th place. He was running in 5th.
I mean, as you say that, I saw Ballas make an absolute mince of Danny G, just cruise by on the inside. So Ballas, he was fast on old tyres. Now he's got fresh tyres. He's got about a 2.676 gap there to closing on there. And he's still got about 55 laps to do it in. So be sure to watch out for Ballas right now as you battle for 3rd. I'm sure we'll hit up between Danson now and Danny G as they work through turns 3 and 4 there right now.
Yeah, and you start. Ooh, Braden just got back into the wall again. as Matt Danson, you can see those new tires are starting to work for Matt Danson and Braden Bolus. Just Danny G has no chance. Danny was up here just trying to make the most of a difficult situation because he was back into, like, I believe he was outside the top 10. So if he can hold on to this third position, maybe get a quick caution here, in a couple of laps or so to bring everybody down to the pit road, he can make a good run at it as he is currently running in that fourth position.
That pit stop really shuffled things around. Of course, Darren McKenzie, he's 19th to 6th though. McKenzie as well. He's already pitted. We saw him on the fresh tyre, so he's made just as much noise as charge as what Ballas has there in the 6th spot.
Yeah, it's been a really good race for most of these cars. Most of these guys have had some success, but as we've seen earlier, Joshua Carroll just hasn't really found that success. It's -9. Michelle Callow is now -11 positions, 10 laps down, and Aaron Dillon, -11. But then you look at the other direction. Riley Curtis from 16 to 9, Darren McKenzie 19 to 6, and Braden Bolus is 18 to 2, and he might be 18 to 1 here in a minute.
He is definitely pushing right now. He's closed that gap. It seems to be a second right now. Well, sorry, cut that now to 1.3. So he's gained about 1.3 seconds over this past couple of laps. And Bowers is really pushing right now to get the lead as quick as he can.
Yeah, as Jason Martin just catches up to Danny G, and Danny G just makes the easy on him. So there are a few battles around. Just trying to find the best one right now. We currently have Darren McKenzie and Stephen Williams. Darren McKenzie on those older tires. See if he can't hold off Stephen Williams here. McKenzie pitted on lap 44, and Stephen Williams pitted on lap 60. So that's 15 lap different tires, and you can see McKenzie's just not able to hold on to that position there. But still, if he can make up from a 19th starting position all the way up to a top 10, he'll be happy with that one.
A lot of guys moving around, of course. Now Lee coming up on some more slower cars, and right now that gap 0.5, and as I say that, it decreases now. So Ballas is right on the back of Lear right now, and Ballas has got something as we see Lear move up on the inside there of the number 8, and Ballas right now is right on the back of Lear as they come off a 4. So we're about to see your race to the lead.
Yeah, we currently only have 50 laps remaining. We have 49 as they cross the line now. Braden Bolus is looking to make a pass, and he just stays in line. He just wasn't where he wanted to be on the track itself. Sometimes you want to be a little bit further up if you want to make a move like that, or you want to get a bigger run going down into 3 like he is now. See if he can't hold it here on the bottom, as he does go low, and he is driving it in there. Keeps it off the wall, and that is a perfect slide job from Braden Bolus to take the lead here with 48 laps to go.
So yeah, your slide job's on paper a little bit different to ours on dirt. Of course, you guys got to be a little bit more tactical with it. You got to be a little bit closer, whereas we can sort of throw it in and just sort of hope it sticks and hope we don't end up flipping and taking out the whole field.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit more. You kind of have to know what you're doing here on the pavement side. You can kind of get away with it on the dirt side, especially if the track's kind of wore out or whatever. Everybody's running up against the wall, like whatever. You hit the wall, who cares? Here, if you hit the wall, it's kind of rough. It'll definitely slow down your car for sure.
Even on like some tracks, not so much in real life dirt. We've seen some of the guys they actually come off the corner and purposely tag the wall when it's slick to try and get that drive and sort of reset, I guess, the spin of the rear tyres to, pick them up. Here, you hit the wall in these, you're looking at a big drop in time.
Yeah, it used to be a thing here at Darlington when they had the old guardrails versus these hard concrete walls. You would see these guys would use that guardrail, and as it flexed, they would kind of just roll on it and kind of just lean on the wall itself. There's actually a really good video of I believe, David Pearson. He did this all the way around what is now turn 1 and 2. It originally was 3 and 4, but he got his car right up on that guardrail and just gassed it up and just basically wall ride. Like we always talk about it being the downfall of gaming. like racing. These guys just run the wall and just flooring it, letting the wall turn it, but it was actually a thing in the 60s.
I mean, damn, that would have been pretty cool to see. I mean, obviously, sparks flying off the car and watching him go, but I mean, right now we just see, of course, Lear trying to work past the slower cars there, and not too much going on right now. I'm sort of trying to search through the field to see what's going on, but I mean, everyone right now after the pit stop definitely sorted themselves out. I mean, another thing, obviously, that I'm not used to is pit stops. I mean, on pavement, you've got to be a lot more strategic than what we do on dirt. Of course, we just run green to check it and hope we don't crash. You guys, obviously, you got to plan, you know, pit stop where you're going to come out, get undercut. I mean, there's a lot more to think about on pavement.
Yeah, well, we have to think about for pit strategy, you know, saving tires and whatnot. You'll have to think about, you know, racing the track. We have to race the track too. It's not as severe as you do in dirt, but you do have to race the track also. So there is a lot of you know, mental work you have to do while you're driving at, you know, almost 300 kilometers an hour diving into these corners.
I mean, I suppose that's why they've got the guy in real life giving them, telling them when to pit and all that. I suppose that makes it a bit easier. But of course, on iRacing, none of these guys have that luxury of just a guy in the box telling them we're going to pit this time by and telling gaps and stuff. So I mean, these guys right now doing it all on their own, having to think about what they want to do, and as well as race the race.
Yeah, so right now everyone's just kind of spread out. Everybody's just kind of tagging the wall here and there. We'll run down the top 10 just real quick. We got Braden Bolus, who started out in that first position, or started out in that 18th position after not being able to clock a time after hitting the wall twice. So he has made a great race for himself. Ashley Lear started out in third, is up into second position. So just been up front all day, led a few laps in the middle part of this race. When you don't have a caution, it's just kind of an endurance race, and you have to be the fastest car. And currently, Braden Bolus has been that. So, second fastest on track is Ashley Lear. Matt Danson is in that third position, currently around 4 seconds behind Braden Bolus, and that gap is increasing as Matt Danson did pop out of the pits just a few laps ago ahead of Braden Bolus. Jason Martin, our pole sitter, is not seeing the best race for himself. Normally, these races are Jason Martin show. These mile-and-a-halfs, you know, these sort of bigger tracks are how far ahead can Jason Martin win by. This race, not so much. You know, 6.5 seconds, now 6.9 seconds behind Braden Bolus in that first position. Danny G is currently in that 5th position as he has seen a pretty good race. He started out in 7th, is currently in 5th position, about 13 seconds behind the leader as he is currently being attacked by Darren McKenzie, who I do believe just pitted again. And there is a huge pack of cars behind him, all which are just kind of out of place for position, so they're just kind of all over the place. Edward Foster is behind that huge pack there in 6th position. Started out in 8th. I do believe we mentioned it earlier, his pit stop strategy wasn't really the best. He did come in a little too late, and that put him way behind the 8 ball. It's put him about 17 seconds behind the leader there in 6th position. Stephen Williams has not seen the best race either. Qualified in 2nd, still in 7th position, so it's going to be a good points day for him, but it's not going to be a really good, you know, he's not going to be very happy about it, as Norman Clark did hit the inside wall going down the backstretch there. He's currently 2 laps down, but like we mentioned earlier, that bottom part of the track is not considered racing surface, so it does not deem to be a caution. Back in 8th position, we have Stephen Williams' teammate as Michael Skurlock. He just got lapped a few laps ago. He started out in 12th and is now currently in 8th position, so seen a pretty decent day. He does have some damage on it, probably could have been better. Had he not gotten into some of that racing they had earlier where Braden Bolus and him and a few other guys were all racing each other really, really hard. Joshua Carroll, man, what a downfall has it been for him. He started out in the 4th position. He's now in the 9th position. He was way back in the field earlier. Currently sitting a lap down, but was looking a lot worse earlier, but his car is looking a lot worse than what his race should is. And James Foster in the 10th position, you know, starting out in the 17th position, really good race for him so far. We do currently have, looks to be about 35 laps to go. and we currently have no cautions. So we've been green flagged for 85 straight laps. First caution is probably going to breed the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, great. I mean, we're 46 minutes now coming into this race, so these guys have been going a long way. And as you were running down that top 10 order, I mean, another thing is Stephen Williams, of course, started second, 7th, but he's also the only car currently, well, the last car, sorry, currently right now sitting on the lead lap. So 7 cars right now sit on your lead lap, and I mean, he's 24 seconds behind the leader. And as talking about the leader, I mean, that's a 5.7 second gap right now. That Danson actually missed to past actually the leader. So Danson into the second spot by the looks of it. Missed that one, but I mean, they're still a long way behind Ballas. And Ballas, by the looks of it, if there's no caution, it looks like it's his race to lose.
Yeah, and I think that's what Matt Danson's going to be praying for. Matt Danson's going to be praying for it, and Edward Foster's going to be praying for it too. On new good tires, or tires that are within 5 to 10 laps, Edward Foster is the fastest car on track, and it's like he's a tenth and a half faster than everybody. So Edward Foster would really like a caution here in a few laps. That way he can get his cars reset, on those tires that he feels comfortable with, and maybe get ahead of Braden Bullis. Right now he's sitting in 6th. It'd be kind of hard to do that, but it would be possible.
I mean, yeah, right now, actually, Lee caught the wall there just a couple laps ago as well, when just before Danson got by. So Lee right now starting to not feel comfortable. As I say that, I think I just saw Danson maybe clip the wall. Maybe that was just a bit of my net code there, having a bit of a problem, and moving into the pits again is the number 8 machine, Norman Clark. So Clark continues to fall back positions right now, but I mean, this race right now really calmed down, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sort of hoping for a caution at this point because, with these guys spread out, I mean, I want to see what happens if we get a caution, punch them all up again, and let them go again.
Yeah, and the way these guys are driving, we might see a caution. Danny G just got up into the wall, and that's going to allow Edward Foster to maybe get a 5th position. With these guys, I do believe Danny G, they are not teammates. My bad. They're not teammates. I was about to say, if any one of these guys in front of Edward Foster is a teammate, they might do what Red Bull did at Coe and allow Edward to gain another spot, because I mean, he's not that far behind Jason Martin. 14 points is not a big gap to make up. Jason Martin only being 1 spot ahead. Danny G actually he's being 2 spots ahead of Edward Foster. My bad. Edward Foster will want to make sure that he finishes ahead of Jason Martin, just so he doesn't extend that for the next 2 races.
Yeah, so talking about the Red Bull, I mean, that was I don't think that was too obvious. I think it was about a 10-second gap, I believe, that he decided to hit the brakes on and let him go. But I mean, obviously that's what it is on road racing. You guys can talk to each other, work out what's the best option in terms of teammates. But right now, I mean, obviously, I think right on his own now, Edward Foster seems to be all on his own in the Blokes Advice machine. So he's going to have to do the old-fashioned way. He's going to have to try and chase him down and pick him off one by one. I mean, still got now coming up on 38 laps to go now, so still quite a bit way to go. Coming up to 3/4 of the race done, so still just over probably a quarter left, and hopefully we'll start to see these guys push a bit more coming into the closing laps.
Yeah, I think these guys have pushed a lot of what they can get out of these cars. Danny G is just ahead of Edward Foster. I think that's about the only position change we may see if this goes green the entire way, which would be an impressive feat for a Darlington race to go green for 120 straight laps. That would actually be extremely impressive, especially how hard these guys are driving. That lap 30 to 40 range, these guys were racing really hard against each other, leaning up on each other, using each other. The fact they're still green right now is pretty impressive. Another thing that's pretty impressive is Danny G. He came in, he pitted on lap, He pitted on lap 50, which was 12 laps before Edward Foster, and he was able to jump him by a lot, and Edward Foster still has not been able to keep up with him, or catch him, even though Foster was quite significantly faster than Danny G. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can pull away from Edward Foster. I do believe Foster may have picked up a lot more damage than he did before, but it's really impressive to see that he's been able to hold him off here lately.
I mean, I was going to say, well, it looked like sort of Martin was closing in on Lear there. He actually narrowed the gap down to about 1.2 seconds, but as that was going on, it's now opened up to about 2 seconds again. So there goes that battle there for third. So, I mean, that's obviously better for Edward Foster, of course, hoping that Martin will hold in fourth and Foster can get by Danny G still with, 23 to go now. So we are coming into the final closing moments of this race. And like I said, if they go green to check it, I mean, that's pretty substantial. 120 laps, with no caution. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, Riley Curtis just about brought out the caution. He hit the wall up in turn 3 and 4, and he just got really, really loose going down it a couple of laps ago. But he almost brought out the caution there, and that was probably going to be pretty rough for him. That was going to be a little rough for everybody, really.
I mean, looking at the points, I mean, Riley Curtis wasn't actually too far out of the point. He was on 297, so I mean, he was still about 20 points behind Foster now. I mean, of course, I don't have the point spreadsheet up, so I couldn't exactly tell what the difference is in points. But I mean, these guys, 3 rounds to go, or coming up to 2 after this one. I mean, the next 2 races, they're going to be exciting to see sort of who can close what sort of gaps on everyone, really. But I mean, right now, I mean, this race right now has just been outstanding to watch Ballas. Ballas is from really, I mean, he's had really near to none mistakes right now in this race.
Yeah, if you're going from 18th to 1st here at Darlington, you kind of have to be you have to be almost flawless in your racecraft. He has had a lot of help with these green flag runs and him being the fastest car on track, so that has helped him out a lot. A lot of people would think you'd want a lot of cautions to kind of help everybody move out of your way on purpose, but he's been working it, so he's actually been showing that he is the fastest car on track. As Ashley Lear and Jason Martin, that battle has tightened up a lot. There's only 2 tenths between them right now, and this is not what Edward Foster wanted to see for that points battle. Yeah,
I mean, I think by the looks of it, Lear got there behind the slower car of the 313 machine, who actually passed Martin about probably 5 laps ago, so passing tried to unhappen himself from Martin a little bit, but I mean, then Lear, I believe, got maybe tangled up with him, and that's closed that gap right out now. So that's the battle for the podium as well. And yeah, Edward Foster, I'm sure right now he'll be rooting for Ashley Lear to hold on to that 3rd spot.
Yeah, just kind of running through the rest of the field here. Oh man, I'm trying to figure out where everybody is on track right now. So if I were Edward Foster, I would go ahead and pit now. Take a second pit stop, try to get some new tires, and hope for a caution. Because if he's on brand new tires, as we see Jason Martin here, just getting on the inside of Ashley Lear doesn't make it happen, and Ashley Lear is just going to get around him. But if I were Edward Foster, I'd actually go ahead and pit now. You're going to lose 4 positions roughly back to 10th, but if you can, you'll definitely collect James Foster, you're a teammate, but you'll be able to probably catch up to make all those positions back up again. And if there's a caution that comes out, you won't need to pit. So that's what I would do. And if you don't have to pit, and these guys do, that'll put you up front, obviously, and then you can control the start and get out ahead, and just kind of block for the remaining laps there are. So if I'm Edward Foster, that's what I would be doing.
I mean, definitely risk first reward. I mean, coming up to the 3rd last round, I mean, you don't want to let him see that gap extend. And I mean, like I said, I mean, he's looking real hungry right now for Ashley Lear as they work down. So in the near laps,
caution. Yep. See, just like that. I'm not sure where the caution is. It looks like, Joshua Carroll. That's a bad day for him. Let's see what happened. He came off turn 2 here and just hit the wall and then hit the inside wall, and it blew up his motor. And he came back onto the track and he was spinning out. So that will bring out the caution. This is going to get really interesting because everybody will be pitting and everybody will be getting some new tires. Danny G's going to have the lucky dog, so he'll be back onto the lead lap. There's only going to be 6 guys on the lead lap when we go back green. So
yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. This is what we've made for. We're going to go green with coming up just on about 10 laps to go. So let's go, 105 laps green. I mean, we're going to have a finish on our hands. It's really what you could have asked for. Clean racing the whole night, but it's going to be close for the finish.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about with the Edward Foster situation. You'd want to go ahead and pit now. Get it, if it doesn't work out, you're already losing, what you have. Granted, you won't be losing as much as you could as if, you didn't pit. Because I think if you didn't pit, you're going to be a lap behind. You're going to be in 7th position. If you did pit, the least you're going to finish is in 7th. So I think overall it wasn't going to be a bad idea.
I mean, looking right now, I'm just going through right now. Edward Foster chose to stay on track right now. So Foster's still on track. Is he maybe hoping that if he can be on front and fend off the charge, he'll have about 10 laps to fend off. But, he'll, by looks of it, restart control. So Foster with a big stake there. We were talking before of him coming in before the caution. Now he's going to stay out while the caution is on. So this is going to be a fight for the finish.
I understand what he's thinking. You can't finish worse than 6th. Worse than 7th, my bad. It'll be 6th, I believe. So he can't finish worse than 6th. So it's only going to play in his favor, but he's going to be 3 seconds slower. He's going to be about 2 seconds slower than these guys. Now he's coming down the pit, so he might have just wanted to make sure everybody else is out of the pit, get a good, clean pit. Pit in, pit out, no issues. So it looks like he's going to pit, but staying out was not going to be an option there. That was never going to be an option. Not when you're 2 seconds slower.
As you guys know, the top 4 right now, they stay in where they were. No one really jumped in on the pits there, and Danny G jumping up now. G will now be in the 5th spot, I believe, when we restart. So yeah, there we go. So Danny G up in the 5th spot. So Foster will come out in 6th place, I believe, if he gets out in time. So 6th place, you look at it, he'll be right behind Jason Martin on the restart. So in all that, they both got fresh tyres. This is going to be a race.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. You're gonna have 6 cars, 7 cars, maybe. Well, I do believe it's only 6 because I don't think Steven Williams and Michael. I think they might just nipped the leaders as they cross the line. So it's gonna show them a lap down. Because here on the oval side of things, the lead lap cars pit first, and then the lap down cars pit second. So they might have just nipped them. They're probably still a lap down, and Edward Foster is gonna start on that outside 3rd row. So we're gonna have 6 cars. All of them are going to be on brand new tires. This is exactly what we wanted to see. All of them have 10 laps to just race each other out.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. But then let's not hope that we don't talk about it. Of course, we talked a little bit before about if a caution comes out, it could turn into caution after caution. Well, obviously, we don't want that. So these guys have been pretty clean all night. I can't imagine them seeing another caution, especially on fresh tyres. But, with these guys now, especially guys like Edward Foster, who obviously wants to be pushing for Martin. We don't know what could happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. The only thing I hope it's not a whole caution breeds caution, like you were saying. We don't want this race to end under yellow.
So no, especially after going 105 laps green. To end under yellow, that would just be heartbreaking.
Yeah, we definitely want to see a green finish, and it's gonna be a fun one. It looks like so scoring. We haven't got back around yet, so my scoring loop still hasn't updated yet. So we'll see where everybody's gonna start and where everybody's gonna fill out here. As the lights are off on the Mustang pace car, Braden Bolus will start up in the 1st position. Yes.
So as we're talking about that, Edward Foster restarting in the 5th spot actually. So Danny G, not quite sure what happened to him, but we're gonna go green, and this is gonna be on.
There goes Braden Bolus. He gets a huge run. That's going to leave a big gap from him back to Matt Danson. And then it's going to be Jason Martin will be in that 4th position. Ashley Lear is going to be that middle car that I missed there. And Edward Foster is going to be right behind Jason Martin. So that's the championship battle there. 14 points separate them in the battle. Not sure how much that position will be worth. But currently they are all the top 5 are for position here.
Yeah, this is definitely right. They're all working, of course, the top side of the speedway as soon as we looked at it. But Foster. He's trying to stay with Lee and Martin. Of course, I'm sure Martin will be looking to try and get by Lee, try and push a little bit of a gap back to Foster, but Foster, by looks at it, he doesn't want to let go of this. As you said, he's been fast throughout the mid-stint. Surprising, actually, when you look at the front, Danson staying with Buller, of course. Buller's been the standout driver tonight. By far, I think, easily you can say best driver of the night. But, I mean, Danson doing well to stay with him here. We're coming to the final 9 laps now on the race. Sorry, 8 laps of the race closing in. So this is going to be a good finish.
Yeah. And, Danson in the wall. That could spell disaster for his race and could spell excellence for Braden. Braden could be just on a cruise mode now, so it looks like Ashley Lear and Jason Martin, these guys are going to be the ones racing for second position, as Edward Foster is just trying his best. You know, he's got to wait for those tires to wear off just a little bit, just enough, and then he's the fastest car on track.
I mean, right now, I'm just sitting in the cockpit right now, Bolo, just admiring. I mean, you sit in the cockpit of this car right now and see how close he's running to the wall. I mean, hell, I could never do that, and I'm not afraid to admit it. He is right now driving a perfect race right now. I think about it.
Ashley Lear's in the wall. Yeah, Ashley Lear tagged the wall, and I was thinking Jason Martin was going to be able to make something of it, and he just doesn't. And, you know, it's just going to stay line astern currently. It looks like we have a blown-up motor on the inside from maybe a lap-down car of some sort. Yeah, it looks like Skurlock Day was going really well. He was able to have a positive position gain over his starting position, but now blown up motor, it will end his night.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate for him, so close again. 6 laps out. He was on the lead lap too, and he's going to be in the pits.
Yeah, and we'll go back up front. Matt Danson is just leading this little pack here. He's about half a second ahead of Ashley Lear, and he's just about 1.3 seconds ahead of Edward Foster, so it doesn't look like Edward's going to be able to make anything of it. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough laps. We're coming up on 5 laps to go as we cross the line right now.
Yeah, Bullis right now, I mean, I'm just rear chasing. Bullis right now is driving an absolutely perfect race. Hopefully we'll have with the commentators first on, of course. Still got 5 laps to go, but these guys right now, they look to sort of be settled where they are right now, but I mean, anything can happen. These guys are running closer and closer to the wall, of course, so anything can happen. That one nick of the wall can upset your car, and that could really cause issues for the end of the race.
Yeah, Braden Bolus actually ran his fastest lap at lap 111, just 5 laps ago. Ran his fastest lap at a 27.7. You'll see most of these guys, all their fastest laps are right around this area, except for Jason Martin. Ashley Lear don't have that. Matt Danson, his was 111, and Edward Foster was not fastest lap. His fastest lap was on lap 3, so it's either lap 3 or 111 for these guys. You know, they're pushing it. You don't think so? And it looks like Edward Foster is actually starting to gain up on Jason Martin here with just 3 laps to go. We're at 3 laps to go, and Edward Foster is making gains on Jason Martin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching right now, but it can definitely close up. 3 to go, though. I mean, that's a short amount of time for that gap, of course. I mean, it's going to be hard to close in right now. I mean, Martin looked like he just maybe made that a little bit of a mistake there to close that in, and right now he looks pretty comfortable again. He seems to be getting a bit tight, but I mean, he's getting the driver from the corner, which is holding him. I mean, we're coming around 2 laps to go right now. We just saw Foster there nearly clipped the wall. They really upsettled his car there coming onto the straight. We've got 2 laps to go, and right now I just don't know if Foster has anything left in him to close that big gap there on Martin.
Yeah, so that position is only going to be worth 1 point in the long run. But that 1 point could be worth, you know, a lot more, because if he can get that 1 point back from Jason Martin, you know, that's only 13 points now, because that's, you know, you just finished 13 spots ahead of Jason Martin. That's all he has to do for the rest of the season. Granted, that's a lot easier than, or a lot hard, or it's a lot harder than it sounds. But if Jason Martin has an issue at Indy or Homestead, you know, that can put you know, that 1 extra spot in between him and that championship.
While you're talking, I mean, we come off turns 4, and Bowles, he will win tonight's race. So Bowles will win. He crosses the line. 2nd place will go to Matt Danson, back to 3rd place of Ashley Lear, then 4th of Jack Martin there, and 5th of Edward Foster. So that rounds out the top 5. And Stephen Williams, the last car on the lead lap in the 6th spot. Danny G went the lap down. I saw G there on the bottom there, on that as the leader was on the final lap. So Danny G coming out the pit. So not quite sure what happened to him, but I mean, that was an incredible race. One portion I think really was right where we wanted it to be. But I mean, Braden Ballas, 18th to first here at Darlington. He really put on the show tonight.
Yeah, he was definitely the class of the field. I don't think there was anybody who was even close to him, in just raw pace and raw speed. It was a very good race by him. It was just overall a perfect performance. Definitely the driver of the race. I don't think anybody can even come close to second guessing that one.
Just right now he's celebrating down the straightaway, and that was, he really has the right to do that. We spoke about him in practice, fastest car by about 2/10. Qualifying didn't go his way, and then, he just did everything right at come race time, and he really earned that one. And, it's going to be interesting now for the points, of course. Like you said, that was a 1 point gap, you said, so that gap's now going to be looking at about 15 points. But as you said, 1 point, it's a lot when it comes down to the final race.
Yeah, and it's going to be 1 point for him difference, and Chris Purnell is definitely going to be out of it. With two races to go, I don't see him gaining the points that he lost. So it's going to be interesting to see, if he can maybe make that up.
It really mixed around in the top 10. Of course, Doberman, we saw in practice, he actually didn't make it out for the race. So Doberman was sitting fourth. He was also in that fight too. He was only 3 points behind Edward Foster, but fortunately, he didn't make it out to see the green flag. So, he drops another position. And then we saw Riley Curtis. Curtis didn't have the best race of his that he would have wished, but he still finished inside the top 10. So that top 10 is really going to be shuffled around coming into the final 2 rounds. And I'm really excited to see what the next 2 rounds are going to produce.
Yeah, as you see Braden Bullis doing the Polish victory lap that was made oh so famous by Alan Kowicki, the late Alan Kowicki, I should say, as what most people consider the last independent champion that we'll have in NASCAR. So it's sort of a thing here that, if you want to honor him, that's the way to do it. Now he's doing his junior style burnout. So I don't see him in the green room for interviews, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get a word with him. So I guess we'll bring on up our highest finishing order, which would be Jason Martin, and our current ports leader. I think we'll bring him into the broadcast here in a minute. And I will beware all the viewers. He is not a very very long talker. And hey, Jason, how was the race tonight? You got coffee, Jason?
Seem to be dropping out a bit there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we may have a copy with him. He might just be getting his stuff set up or whatnot.
I definitely heard him come in. I heard that bit a loud bit, but might have to just wait and see. So he finished up fourth. He led. Obviously, he controlled the early part of the race, and then come late race, he just couldn't seem to find anything. But he managed to hold him to fourth. Of course, that's better than pushing too hard and getting that DNF, which really would have hurt him. So fourth is much better than nothing. And I feel like he controlled his car for the race as he jumped out again there. So still trying to back. As we'll take a look now to our final results page there. So Ryan, if you want to read that down for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got Braden Bullis up front that we talked about a lot. Matt Danson finished in that second position. Ashley Lear in third. Jason Martin in fourth. Edward Foster will lose a championship point to Jason Martin by finishing in fifth position. Stephen Williams was the last car on the lead lap in sixth. Danny G was the first lap car down there in seventh. James Foster in eighth. Darren McKenzie in ninth. Both of those cars drove through the field starting in 17th and 19th to finish up 8th and 6th. Riley Curtis also gained starting from 16th going into 10th. Ben Doughty, he started in 21st going through 11th. So it seemed like a lot of these guys were feasting on the problems that the competitors were having. Skurlock had that late race engine explosion, finishing 6 laps down in the 13th position. Joshua Carroll did bring out our only caution of the race, and not a race that he was expecting, starting in 4th and finishing up in that 14th position. Norman Clark at 22 laps down finished 15th. Dwayne Priest at 32 laps down finished 16th. I do believe he may have spun earlier in the race, sometime about halfway down that back stretch, but he got a lot of damage and he was ended up 32 laps behind. David Douglas, he did hit the wall on that back stretch, and he was done from that point on, 40 laps down. Michelle Callow, who was racing up towards the front, not exactly sure what happened, but finishing 64 laps down, something big happened, and not the race that they were looking for. That sixth starting position and finishing 18th. Roger Clark, 19th. Aaron Dillon was 20th after starting in 9th position. Matthew Clowett, one of the faster guys in the series, he did start in the 10th position. Will finish up in that 21st. Nicholas Walsh will finish up in the 22nd, and Hayden Dahman did not start the race. Did qualify, but didn't start, and he will finish up in the 23rd position. So it looks like we do now have Braden Bolus here in our comms box. Braden, you got a copy?
I sure do.
Alrighty, the race for you went about to plan. The qualifying didn't, but the actual race did. Walk us through it a little bit.
Yeah, no, qualifying didn't go well. I actually wanted to qualify, but it didn't work out. So I started from the back, and there were so many wrecks that didn't bring out cautions that you know how it be. But that definitely made it a lot tougher to come through the field. I couldn't name names. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, there was definitely a lot of stuff going on. It was pretty eventful. And then once I got up to about 5th, it was pretty spread out. Made it not even a lot easier actually.
Yeah, and it looked like once you got up to that 5th position, it kind of seemed like it took a little bit longer to get past those cars. And then you were out front, and you were leading and everything, and then the caution comes out, and it's only 15 laps to go. I bet you were slightly mad then.
A little bit, yeah, because I wanted to just kind of let the race play out there and just see how big I could get the lead up to, but that unfortunately didn't happen. But it'd be like that sometimes, so it's okay.
I suppose quick thing to throw in, just going through the entries of Braden, you're actually the only who's not Australian or New Zealand, so the only American. And really, I mean, you just showed us that you are, well, NASCAR being an American sport, you just showed us really how it's done over here in Australia and New Zealand.
Well, I'm here to help, so that's good.
Yeah, that's what I try to, I try to help out some of these guys. I've been racing with these guys for a little bit. We raced a little bit last year and been more in the box more this year because I'm racing with another league now. The schedule doesn't work out all that often, so this was kind of an off week. So I'm sure you either work night shift or you just happen to be up for this one.
Oh, I'm usually a night owl, but yesterday in particular. Yesterday I actually had surgery on my mouth, and I came home and slept for like 9 hours, and then I got a message from Matt at like 1 a.m. and he was like, "Hey, you want to do the Thunder race?" And I was like, "Might as well. Let's do it."
Oh yeah, it's so this is your first start in the ANZCAR series?
Yeah, in the Thunder series. Yeah.
Cool deal. So, well, this is a pretty good opening, pretty good outing for you. Start 18th, drive through the field, come up to first, and you're the fastest guy by a lot for most of the race. So, pretty good race. Yeah. You have anybody want to think?
Yeah, I guess I'll give a shout out to Matt Dan. Why not? He's kind of a knucklehead, but we'll give it to him. Other than that, though, yeah, that's really about it.
You were about to say something just before I rudely interrupted you.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, gotta show them what they're in for next season. So we had to go out here and dominate this one.
There you go. Alrighty, well, good race today. And Aaron, do you have anything for him?
I suppose it's just thing to say is thanks for that masterclass and teaching us how to drive. I mean, you drove that thing immaculately, and yeah, I mean, obviously, probably won't see you in the last 2 rounds, but if we do, we'll be sure to keep an eye out on that 01 machine and see where you go.
Oh yeah, I hope to be around next season doing the Thunder Series full time. Hopefully, if I don't sleep through any races.
Right on. Alrighty, so it does look like we have Matt Danson. It does look like we have him up next. He did finish in our second position. He was definitely the second fastest car. It looked like he was the fastest car for a lot of the race until Braden got up there. Matt Danson, how was it for you?
It was good. It was a fun race. It's never nice to lose, but I guess to a teammate, it's all right. I sort of taught Braden everything he knows here, so I guess the win is it's kind of halfway my win. I take it.
So the student was teaching the teacher how to do it today.
Unfortunately, that's the case. Yep.
So yeah, most of the race, you were out front, either in the lead or close to the lead. And then there was a point there for a little while where you were in like third place at the, probably about lap 20 or 30 or so. You're in third place and you're faster than everybody in front of you. And then they all just started collecting up in front of you. Did you think at that point that, maybe the race could be yours to win if it went green the whole time?
I think that's the sort of the first run. I was reasonably confident. I'm usually pretty good on the long runs, but I was conscious of the fact that Braden was working his way through the pack. So I kind of kept an eye on his progress, and I knew that he was making time on me. So I kind of I was quietly confident, but I was conscious of what he was doing.
And then that last restart, you're starting on the outside of him, and he just drove away from you. How hard were you pushing that car?
Oh, I was going hard. There was I had a couple of chances because I got a better run out of two for a couple of laps in a row, and I considered dumping him, but I thought better of it, and just because that part of the race, like the high line on the fresh tires, is the only choice. So the only way I could possibly have got by him is to have moved him. And as funny as that would have been, I thought better of it.
Yeah, it would have made for for great racing. You got a championship to win. He's only got one start. Aaron, do you have anything for Matt?
No, I suppose. You pretty much covered it all. I suppose Danson, coming up in the second spot, you pretty much were inside the top five the whole race. I suppose last thing, is there anyone you want to thank?
I'll save the arrogance for the wins, but I thank the league and all you guys for putting on a good show. Obviously the broadcast and everything. It's good fun. Thank Braden for being a good teammate, and everyone for an enjoyable race.
Right on. So
hopefully we'll see you next weekend for the second last round of the series.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think I'm making a bit of a habit of finishing second in the races here. Either second or getting suspended. So we'll see what happens next.
So we'll see you at the top step next time then, or down the back?
Yeah, one of the two.
Right on. Alrighty, so it looks like we'll bring in the most talkative person in the world, Jason Martin, next. It does not look like we have a copy on Ashley Lear. So, Jason Martin, get you all fixed up there?
Yeah, all good now. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good, man. You finished fourth after qualifying pole. It didn't look like you had your normal Jason Martin dominate everybody race. How was it out there? It didn't look like it was a fun one for you.
Oh, mate, this is my worst track. I'm absolutely no good at all here.
Obviously, in qualifying, you seemed pretty comfortable in qualifying. You controlled what seemed to be really the first quarter of the race, and then was it just your tyres sort of wearing out, or you just seemed to not be able to find anything that you could work with, and the other guys just had too much?
No, my tyres were pretty good. It's just me struggling. Hadn't done more than 5-10 laps in practice, so on the long run, I was just being a bit too careful and couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, obviously, in the fourth spot. I suppose the good thing about tonight is obviously you hold your lead, you extend it by a point heading into the final 2 rounds there. And I mean, was that sort of a key moment there? I mean, we saw a few runs there. You let, I believe, Ballas or Danson by there. Was that just to let them race and you thought you were faster on your own, or?
Yeah, I was just looking after the points and taking it a bit easy, but they were just way too good for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose coming in obviously the final 2 rounds, I mean, we're not going to ask you probably if you're pretty confident in winning. I mean, you seem pretty good throughout the season. From what I've been told, obviously, for my first time being here, but I mean, I suppose last thing really, I mean, is there anyone you want to thank, I mean, tonight?
Hopefully I'll go a lot better next week. The M tracks suit me better, but I don't have any teams or anything to.
Well, I mean, I suppose that really wraps it up here. So, I mean, we'll look forward to see you, I believe the next track's Indianapolis, if I'm correct. So, look to see you there again and see you up front. And hopefully next week you can pick up that dominance again that I've been told about. And, yeah, I mean, congratulations on 4th place. Obviously not probably where you wanted to be, but still better than nothing.
Thanks, mate. I expect to give Braden and Matt a bit more of a challenge next week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ryan, I suppose that just about does it here for the performance stream. The Thunder Series for the Xfinity. I mean, we've got 2 rounds to go now. Points are obviously going to be adjusted throughout the week, but I mean, Indianapolis coming up for the next round. 2 rounds to go. It's going to be heated up with only 15-point gap for the lead.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one for sure. You know, there's only two races left. I don't believe I'm gonna be able to make either of them just due to work. But you know, it's gonna be interesting to see if Edward Foster can make up those 15 points that he is now down on. So we'll see if he can't make that up, and it's gonna be good because it's 15 points. That's not a whole lot. It's not a good gap to have. So. Well, it'll be fun to watch them two go at it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all it really takes is one mistake for your race to be over, and I mean, it changes up the points. But I mean, we'll see you guys next time at Indianapolis for the second last round of the Thunder Series, the Xfinity Cup, and we'll see how everything plans out. So thank you for the stream to everyone who tuned in, and we'll see you next time.